I'm really glad to see you again and have opportunity to talk with you. Thank you. You're agreeing for that actually interview series where we talk about professional burnout. You have been with M Studio for 13 years, and the past 10 years you have been its director. Yeah, it's impressive, time actually. So you have a lot of experience as a leader. How do you see the topic of the professional burnout in the M Studio and in the Romania? It is the topic which you are discussed, or it's a taboo topic?
Well, it's generally in Romania, I don't think that we discuss it. Because I think that economically it's that we are in that situation, or we are supposed to be in that situation, when if you get a job and if you are able to work in your own professional field, then you are supposed to be happy about it, and you are supposed to be grateful all the time, and that's it. So this is this is the general situation. But the good thing is that I've heard about some projects, mostly artistic projects, mostly performances, which started independent performances, which started to talk at least, or to raise some questions regarding this topic or this issue. In M Studio, I think that we are lucky in a lot of ways, because I think that from the artist's point of view, burnout can appear in two cases. One, if the amount of work is overwhelming and they just cannot face the the load of work, and this is actually not our case, because we somehow could find a good balance between not having to work too much, but enough in order to to be active. And the other case is I think when you start to feel that it's routine what you do, and in this case, because I'm the manager of the company, but I'm not a choreographer, so this isn't that case when the same company works with the same choreographer again and again and again. So actually we work in a different structure, like we invite different choreographers from all around the world to work with us. And this way, I think, this is of course a really good situation, because they can with every rehearsal period, they meet new people, they meet new concepts, new ways of thinking, which of course in a good situation, it's a good situation, because it's inspiring always. Yeah. And if they can feel that they are always developing in what they do, and they they are somehow moved outside of their comfort zone, then it's good. But at the same time, burnout, I think, can appear. It's somehow inevitable, even in this situation, because if you are at the same company working for 10 years, 15 years, some of our performers have been at the company since it was founded, which is now 20 years ago. So I think it's inevitable, but from my, I don't know everything about their, their state of being in a burnout or not, but we talk a lot. So, for example, we had a situation in which one performer, 2 years ago, he asked me not to be included in the next performance, because he was included in all the performances before for 18 years. So, and he just felt that he needs to rest a little bit, because he just needs to, recharge. And and in this case, I heard what he said, and I agreed because this was the I don't know, the best thing to do for our company, for him, and also for myself. So so in these situations when they know that they can come and they can talk to me, and I am that kind of person who listens, and if it's, you know, if the structure in which we work, if it is possible to deal with that situation, and if it's possible to help them in some way, then of course I will do that. It's not always possible, of course, because my hands are tied sometimes, but at least, you know, the intention is there in them and in me also, to whenever a situation like this appears, that they feel that okay, now I'm done for a little bit of time, then we can, or we should work on it, and we should find a solution.
Okay, thanks. Okay, yeah, like you said, we know each other, and I know you are a really empathic person, and like you said, you are also empathic leader. And do you see the role of an empathic leadership to prevent the burnout? And do you see that this approach translates into the higher motivation and more maybe effective goals settings? Because, you know, it's important to listen, yeah, to each other and to talk, but the empathic leadership, it's good way to do, or maybe it's not necessary.
From my point of view, it's absolutely necessary. I mean, you cannot do this thing without that, because it's I mean, we are humans, and we work together all the time, and it's about also work with ourselves, but also it's about the work with each other. So if I don't know, if someone, for example, in a theater company or in a dance company, if a performer feels that he or she cannot talk to the other performers, and also to the manager, and he or she is stuck with his own problems, and there is no one to turn to when he is stuck, then that's a problem, because there is no way out. I mean, I think that being in the state of burnout can, because it's there aren't really, I don't know, possibilities like methodology for you know, for dealing with this. Like when, I don't know, maybe, you know, when you have some personal life issues, you might go to therapy. Like therapy for burnout in Romania at this moment, there isn't such a thing. So the best we can do is to talk to each other, and to
be a support.
Yeah, exactly, and to be open-minded and open-hearted towards each other, because and I know managers who are not like this. In some way, their companies might, I don't know, I mean, if you know, there are some really strict rules, it can work in a good way, but
I
like
think in a short period.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in a long period, if there is no real and true communication between the performers and the manager, it's not I don't know, it's not a viable thing to do. And also it goes the other way around, because it's for example, in our company, the good thing is that that also when I am feeling stuck in a situation, then they are also my partners in the discussion. So this is and this is a really nice and lucky situation. It doesn't solve all the problems, but at least we try.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and the topic about group process. How do you think, how does recognizing the natural phases of group process could help leaders to prevent burnout?
Well, I think if it can help, it's just that specific leader needs the means and again the methodology to do that, because we are theater people, so and it is, I think the burnout is it's a really complex state, because it goes on in the body, in your soul, and in your mind. So, for example, me as a leader or as the manager of this company, if or when I see in the group process the different, the different states where someone is, is getting bored, or someone is getting insecure, or someone is getting overwhelmed, and in the next phase, when I see that someone hasn't been in a good state for a longer time, and it might go towards burnout, I can help them only in, using those thoughts or those means, tools, which which I have naturally in me as a person, or based on the on the experience of these 10 years, and based on the knowledge about them as performers, as human beings, and as, of course, as friends, because we are also friends. So, and when I combine these, of course I can give them a hand and I can somehow help them, but there is a limit in this, because I would need the means to and the tools to do more, which I don't have, because there in Romania there aren't any tools for this. So yeah, if in some, at some point, if someone could show me these means, or it would be really helpful.
Okay. Yeah, Imola, you have a very open mind, and reach seeing a lot of things. How you, as a leader, deal with professional burnout? Because you talk about your people, your dancers, your colleagues, and how you support them, and of course they support you, like you said. But I think as a leader you have a lot in your head.
Well, I think that's the big issue, or that's why I'm always repeating that I need the means, not only for the dancers or for the performers, but also for myself, because it's when it's about me, then I'm mostly alone with this problem or with this situation, because we are a small company, which means that actually for the whole management and administration and the PR part, there is only the two of us, me and my colleague. And sometimes, a lot of times, most of the times, actually, it can feel overwhelming. It's what I said at the beginning, that there are these two ways of getting to burnout if the work is becoming a routine. That's it's a good thing that that's not true for me and for my work, because it's not becoming a routine, because there are a lot of new challenges all the time. So this is not a problem. The amount of work is sometimes the problem. And the interesting thing is that I think I started to observe the signs of burnout maybe in the last 2 years, and in the last I think actually this year I started to observe more and more signs. What I can do with this is to well, most of the times I just take a really deep breath and go on. Which is not a solution, of course, because that means that I'm not dealing with the problem. Otherwise, I am talking to my colleagues about it, because when I feel and I see that they are still excited about what we do, then, and when I can feel that there is a reason for what I do, then it pushes me. Yeah, but and also, you know, there are some very simple things which I try to do for the three. I mean, for my body is physical exercise. I think that's the most powerful tool to get rid of stress. And for my mind and my soul, I just try to find, I don't know, those times when what I can spend with myself to, you know, to just I don't know, breathe and recharge, and just think about that, what are those, I don't know, those situations or those not things actually, because it's mostly places, for example, to where if I go there and I don't know, spend like 2 days or 3 days, then it gives me a lot of energy, and it's, you know, it's sometimes it gives us a distance between the burnout and me. And it is also true about people, because there are some people who, I don't know, who are inspiring to me, whom I love, and then that, of course, that can help. But at the end of these, you know, these different types of I don't know, trying to get over and to deal with burnout, the burnout still stays. I mean, these are only, I don't know, like midterm solutions somehow, which can help.
But the base is all the time until
That's
the burnout.
Yes, that stays, because again, I don't have the means to.
Okay. Yeah, and I also think the most important to see the problem in the holistic way, not only the mind, not only the our bodies, but also the souls and our spirits. Yeah. So you know, you are from the art, and you are an artist actually also, and what do you think? Do you see the potential in combining artistic and physical activities with stress management as a tool to prevent burnout? And do you think such practice could be active even for people who are not artists?
Well, I think yes. It's an absolutely yes. The answer, because you know, that's the magic about the artistic way to deal with different things. That it's about all of it. It's about the mind, the soul, and the body, and the connection. Because I don't know, when, for example, let's just talk about the performative way. When you just, because of course you are a performer, so you know the best, that when you are on stage, and especially when it's about dance, if you can't take one of these things out of the equation. It's just they work together all the time, and they have effect on each other all the time. So and because the burnout, also the problem is this type of problem, when all these connect. I think that this way, I mean, physical exercise combined with an artistic approach, it can be the best way to deal with the problem, because it could you know, move some things in you, like on all levels. And maybe it can I don't know, to bring you back or bring forward. I don't know if it's not a going back, actually it's going forward, but it is possible to for this in this way to just I don't know, to clear a lot of things and to restart somehow. Because now I'm thinking, you know, that physical exercise, for example, on its own, like when we are, I don't know, we are talking about sports, that's also a little bit also about the mind and the soul, but not so much. It's mostly, it's like 99% it's about the body, and it's about will to I don't know, to push yourself and to go on. But the other parts, actually, the burnout, if let's say you are in a really good physical condition but your soul and your mind are not in a good place, then it's not a solution. So out of the question, if I think that this would be a good way also for those people who are not performers or artists, I think it would be a wonderful way, because it's you know what I see in my, I don't know, in when I'm walking on the streets or I'm meeting different people, that we all people and not non-artists especially, they are stuck in
one point of view.
Yeah, exactly. And also their heart is not that open how it should be, and somehow, you know, the because the body somehow I don't know, says a lot about how is your mind, and how is your soul. And a lot of times you can see that people's bodies are like this, you know, that they are tense, and of course that people who are not artists, I think it's a natural reaction that they would be afraid a little bit from an approach like this, because it's something new and it's something different of what they did. But I think at the same time that it always needs just the first step, and when they would start to feel the benefits, you know, and the good effect on their whole being, then it's just you let it go and you go with it. So
but like you said, it's maybe not the easiest way for everyone, but it's like process. It's step by step. No one could do in the beginning everything, and you know, with open heart, like you said. We need to care about that process. That's how quick it is. And we see also the people, and we know if you are ready to go a little step forward or not. And I think this is it. Okay, Imola, what advice would you give to young people starting their careers? That would you recommend to them to avoid burnout?
Well, I would say what they will not like, that they should find balance in work and in the amount of work, even if they feel that they have all the energy in the world. And of course they do. And you know what, sometimes when we are not so young anymore, we also do have a lot of energy, but it's not an infinite amount of energy. And what I would say to them is that they need to find a balance between working and, you know, working with their whole being and being into that thing what they do with their whole being, but at the same time just to find, I don't know, that time for them to just breathe and recharge, because if they don't, that energy is slipping away slowly. So and at the same time I would say to them also that they should do only that kind of work which they can do with, I don't know, with their soul also, and with which they are happy, because otherwise burnout will come. I mean, burnout comes anyway at some point, but there is a big difference if it comes in a situation when you love what you are doing and you want to get through the burnout because you want to continue doing that, and it's another situation when you are okay with what you are doing but you are not happy with that, and then comes burnout, and then it's just then it's a really bad situation. So
darkness.
Yeah, exactly. So they should choose something which they not what society expects from them, but what they really love to do.
Thank you, Imola, for a talk. It was really inspiring us, and go to deep research more and more to our research in burnout and how to deal with it, and how to work further in our methods, WTN. So thank you. It was really a pleasure to talk with you, and see you in the future.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Okay.